Good morning. Welcome to today's meeting of the Assembly Committee on Government Affairs for the 2025 legislative session. Will the secretary please call the roll?
DeLong. Present. De Silva. Here. Edgeworth. Present. Flanagan. Here. Gallant. Here. Golding. Here. Gurr. Here. Hunt. Here. Jackson. Here. Karras. Here. Kasama. Here. Wynn. Here. Chair Considine.
I am here. We're all here today. Welcome to the audience in Carson City, those joining by video conference in Las Vegas, and those listening over the internet. I would like to begin with our housekeeping measures. Please check and silence your electronic devices. If you wish to testify, please sign in at the table by the door and provide a business card to our committee secretary. When testifying, please turn the microphone on and clearly state your name and any affiliation for the record. And please turn your microphone off each time you are done speaking. If you are providing handouts, please ensure that hard copies are available for members of the public. Electronic copies should have been submitted to our committee manager by 9 a.m. yesterday for our committee members. We expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during the meeting, even if we disagree with someone else's position. I encourage committee members to ask questions and engage with the material presented. If you have any follow-up questions, please flag them for me so we can ensure we balance our time effectively during today's meeting. Committee members will be using their laptops to view handouts and other documents. Please do not interpret this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. Today, we will hear two bills. First, we will hear Assembly Bill 222, which revises provisions relating to public works, followed by Assembly Bill 356, which revises provisions relating to collective bargaining agreements. Then we will conduct a work session to take actions on measures the committee has heard in previous meetings. To ensure we get through everyone fairly and in a timely manner, we will set a 20-minute time limit for each period of support, opposition, and neutral testimony, with each speaker having 2 minutes. To ensure we allow as many people as possible to testify, feel free to say ditto if someone else has already covered your testimony. Okay, let's get started. We will begin with Assembly Bill 222. I will now open the hearing on Assembly Bill 222. To present this measure, we have Assembly Member Jackson and some co-presenters. And Assembly Member, go ahead when you are ready.
Jovan Jackson for the record. Good morning, committee. Good morning, chair. I'm Jovan Jackson representing Assembly District 6. Today I will be presenting Assembly Bill 222, which revises provisions relating to public works. I have three co-presenters with me. Greg Esposito, Wendy Carbone. Okay. And I'm sorry. And Avery Molnar. Okay. I'm sorry about that. To present this measure, I will briefly set the stage for the bill and provide an overview of the amendment. Then I will turn things over to the professionals. Trades are vital to our workforce, but we all know not all populations are represented evenly. Women, for example, are vastly underrepresented, with the Nevada Appeal reporting recently that less than 10% of these trade jobs in the United States are filled by women. We need to start building out our workforce more evenly. One such method for addressing this issue is through apprenticeships. Apprenticeships balance skills-based education and on-the-job training, making them critical pipelines for trades. With AB 222, I aim to implement certain accountability and support measures in our state apprenticeship programs with our goals of prioritizing the number of women and other specific populations in these programs. Proposed amendments. So I know there was a lot of amendments flying out there, but I hope everyone has the right amendment in front of them. Proposed amendments, I would now like to briefly review the conceptual amendments on Ellis as it makes significant changes to the bill. And I think it might be clearer to focus my presentation on that The amendment requires all registered apprenticeships in Nevada to report certain different demographic data to the state apprenticeship director, such as how many women, veterans, and members of minority groups applied and were accepted to apprenticeships, among other data. The state apprenticeship director must determine if any apprenticeships have met the minority and women utilization rate outlined in their apprenticeship standards and must issue a letter to the apprenticeship recording of their findings. The state apprenticeship director must also annually report the data collected to the legislator. Furthermore, the Department of Education, Training, and Rehabilitation must make certain programs and resources available to register to apprenticeships that have not met the outlined minority and women utilization rate. Finally, the Governor's Office of Economic Development will make grants for educational program advancements available to register apprenticeships that have met the minority and women utilization rate. With that all being said, I would like to pass it to my co-presenters. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee. Greg Esposito, representing the Nevada State Pipe Trades. Honored to be sitting next to the Assembly member and speaking on this issue today. When a scientist has a hypothesis, they propose a question, and they propose what they expect the outcome of that question to be. And then in between that is a lot of research and a lot of data collecting. This is the second time that this idea has come before this body. And there has been a hypothesis, and then there's been a solution. And what hasn't happened is that data collection. And so this amendment to the original bill is designed to fill that gap. The Assembly member mentioned how important it is to make sure that the trades and the apprenticeships and the workforce development programs have a broad spectrum of participation. Apprenticeships have worked on that as well as they can for many years. And as a matter of fact, the data that's here, the data that's mandated here, does already get, and for the most part, already get reported up to the apprenticeship director. And where the lacking is the apprenticeship director hasn't ever told you guys what the results are. And so that's the extra step. It will sort of solidify the need to collect important data and then create the step of reporting it up to the apprenticeship director so that they can report it to you. And then in the interim, you guys can decide if there's a need to fill a gap. The amendment was supposed to also include trade programs, for-profit trade programs, because you can't keep just picking on apprenticeships. The head of the Southern Nevada Building Trades Unions pointed it out to us a little bit ago, that there are plenty of for-profit trade schools that don't have to report their application, their recruitment, their acceptance rates for any of these categories. And I'm not quite sure that some of the trade programs with the colleges have to report these standards. And so the amendment called out how there are government committees that oversee for-profit trade organizations. The same reporting needs to happen to them. And then community colleges should be reporting to the deputy director of NSHE over trade programs. Then you guys can take that information and do with it as you see fit. But you can't do anything until you know what the situation is, whether or not there are women and minorities and veterans and formerly incarcerated people applying, and what their acceptance rates are, what their rejection rates may be. And then the final part of the bill utilizes existing resources to help improve the situation. If a program is not meeting the standards that they have set out in their own documents, DETR should make their resources, their existing resources, available to those programs. Hey, do you know that we have job boards, we have job fairs, are you participating? And if programs do meet their requirements, then GOED can step in hey, we have resources and grants available to make sure that your training program is covering the spectrum of what a populace needs and what the individuals need. So we truly appreciate the opportunity to submit this amendment and hope that we can move forward to take a look at what's actually happening out there when it comes to workforce development and training, and then you guys can get to decide how to move forward in coming legislation.
Good morning, committee. For the record, my name is Wendy Colborn. I am here representing the Building and Construction Trades Council of Northern Nevada, and we are honored to be co-presenting this bill with Assemblyman Jackson. Thank you for reaching out to us and working with us on the amendments to this bill. As my co-presenters have said, the goal of this bill is to collect information so that we can make better decisions about recruitment and about engaging women, specifically women to get into the trades. We do have some, but it isn't a career for everybody, and finding out the specific reasons why women are leaving before they just disappear into the ether and go find another career would really help us reach out to women and make sure that their needs are being supported in our trades programs. Women do face a unique set of circumstances and difficulties in male-dominated professions of all types, but especially construction. And we've been working really hard here in Northern Nevada, and the building trades unions have been working hard nationwide to try to engage. But getting this information together would be a huge assistance to us to be able to do that lift. I've had the privilege of attending the National Building Trades Unions Tradeswomen Build Nations Conference, which is a national gathering of tradeswomen from across the country, thousands and thousands of tradeswomen coming together and discussing tradeswomen issues. And it's truly inspiring, but also emotionally staggering to see what women do still face in the trades. And finding any way we can uplift them here in Nevada would make a big difference to increasing those numbers.
Hi, I'm Avery Moliner. Forgive me for not knowing all of the verbiage and how to address everyone here. I am new to testifying, so bear with me. I am currently an apprentice right now in the Pipe Trades Union at Local 350. And I came here today to tell you just how difficult being a woman in construction is. I know there are people in the room who understand that and can personally relate and have seen how it has grown. But there is still a very staggering level of differences while women are still in construction and they are attempting to kind of break that glass ceiling. So my time in Local 350, I turn out here in about 3 months, and I will be a journey person. And I can tell you that since the day I started, it has been a challenge. This career is not for everybody, men and women alike, but especially women. This trade, the apprenticeship, does not call for women to start families or women who have families already. There are no facilities that open at 5 a.m. so you can do daycare drop-offs for your children. If you are thinking about starting a family, as I myself am right now, it's a struggle to facilitate having the time off to take care of, your infant and to be a mother pregnant in this industry. There are not any avenues for you as a pregnant mother to keep working. And if you are working out in the field and you are still doing manual labor and there are no accommodations. I'm also a veteran myself. So I have been in a male-dominated industry my entire life since I was 17. That's when I first joined the military. So I have grown up, it's been a decade that I've been around very male-dominated fields. I have dealt with my own personal challenges. I have seen other women deal with their own personal challenges as well in all of this. And it is a struggle for sure. There have been times where I wanted to drop out. I faced a physical battery and assault on a roof by my own boss, alone on a roof with somebody that I was supposed to just be able to do my job with. And there are men who do not want us to be able to do their job. And I just feel like that needs to be conveyed, that needs to be talked about, that needs to be something that is reported on. I have gone to AFL-CIO conventions. I have been involved in the Tradeswomen Build Nations conventions for the last 3, going on 4 years. This will be my 4th year going. And those events coming together, but realizing again how little the apprenticeships have for women to come in, is nothing offered. I know it's a struggle to try to provide avenues and support for women in construction. And you do not want to be considered a liability. You want to be an asset as a woman in any industry. And a lot of the times what you are trying to overcome, there are still differences that need to be talked about. And it is blatantly obvious that there are differences between women and male-dominated industries. And so I just want us to have that conversation, and I think that's what this would do, is to be able to give you guys that understanding, and so that there's no miscommunication, and it gives us that direct line of understanding. So thank you for allowing me to speak today. I appreciate you all.
Jovan Jackson for the record. Just to give a quick background on this bill, this was presented last session, AB 305. It focused on getting women in trades. It focused around the apprenticeships and the general contractor, that they had to have a certain percentage of women in trade for a certain type of horizontal or vertical development. The original bill 305 focused on apprenticeships in general contractors. Because that is the main pipeline to trades, is apprenticeships to contracting. So this amendment does focus just on the apprenticeships. I know there was a lot of amendments out there floating around, but I just want to be clear that as introduced, this does focus solely on the apprenticeships. Don't mean to pick on the apprenticeships or anything like that, but the main concern is, the original intent was the concern with the apprenticeships and the general contractors. So that's where the focus will be, but, I may consider other amendments at a later time. Also, I just also want to recognize, this came from the community, and the concern came from the community. I don't know much about apprenticeships or labor or hard labor at that, but so the concern came from the community, from women in trades, from Evelyn. I don't want to mess up her last name, so I got to work with Evelyn for a few years with her graduations, with her women in trades, and I have spoke to at least 80 to 100 women from her program that are interested in trades. So there are women that want to be in trades. There are women that want to be in apprenticeships. And I think the main goal of this bill is, what is the why? Why isn't there not enough women in trades? We necessarily don't want to punish individuals who for not being able to hire women. We want to understand the why and then be able to move forward. Thank you. Jovan Jackson for the record. So if you have any questions, I think we are finished.
Thank you for the presentation, and I want to say for your first time, you did a great job. We will now move on to questions. Our first question comes from Vice Chair Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Assemblymember Jacksons, and all the wonderful testimony. And for the first time, you did a great job. So kudos to you there. So we're all learning ourselves up here, so don't worry. I just want to clarify a couple things on the amendment, and thank you for giving us the heads up on this. The next to the last paragraph, the department that you want to be able to appropriate programs for, I'm sure you meant employment, right? Not education?
DETR.
Right.
Greg Esposito for the record. We meant DETR, which is the Department of Employment, Training, and Education.
No, actually, it's just the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitations.
DETR, D-T-R. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, we have a separate Department of Education, so I just want to make sure that you are intentioning the right department for this purpose.
Greg Esposito for the record. Whatever acronym DETR stands for, that's all I care about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Just want to get that clear on the record. Thanks. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, our next question is from Assemblymember Karras.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to all of you for coming. Assemblymember Jackson, this bill has grown leaps and bounds from its original, and it's Very good, because the data does need to be collected before the next step, which is where you were going with the original part. So kudos to you on that. Avery, oh my goodness, great job. You did a great job. As a fellow woman in the trade, yes, you're doing just fine, and I can't wait to see you graduate in 3 months. That's awesome. My question, I know that was a little long, Chair, I apologize. In going through this amendment, and when you mentioned that you also wanted it to be for for-profit trade schools, who will the for-profit trade schools report their data to?
Jovan Jackson for the record. So the amendment that I presented to the committee only focused on apprenticeships. So that's but hypothetically speaking, maybe Greg could mention that, but as introduced, it's only focusing on the apprenticeships.
Greg Esposito for the record. I apologize for muddying the waters. I didn't see this piece of paper after I printed it out. I apologize. I was talking to a different amendment, so it is as the Assemblyman has presented.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Our next question is from Assemblymember Goulding.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your presentation. Mr. Esposito, you said that the apprenticeship programs are already collecting this data. Is that correct?
Greg Esposito for the record. For the most part, yes. There's almost everything that's on this list is collected and is supposed to be reported up to the state apprenticeship director.
Would this bill change your ability to collect data or how you could be responding to that data already? I'm trying to understand what additional value the bill brings in your ability to address the question. I think that the meat of the question here is making sure that apprenticeship programs are responding to the data.
Thank you for the question, Jovan Jackson for the record. So there is federal reporting. So most apprenticeships do, and I don't want to be incorrect, so correct me if I'm wrong. Most apprenticeships do report their data on a federal level. I would say this also as an extra request with the why. You know, why are women dropping out of trades? And it's not like when if they do quit, if they don't finish, that they have to report it if it's provided. If the reason is provided why they left, whether it's, child care or testing or whatever it was. So that is the unique thing about this bill. We want to understand the why women aren't in trades. And then like Mr. Esposito said earlier, it allows them to report the data directly to the apprenticeship programs, the directors, so we could have that relation between the state and the apprenticeship program.
Thank you. Our next question is from Assemblymember Kasama.
Thank you, Chair. And I might have two if you want me to wait, but let me know. So I just wanted to, and I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. So with the amendment here, it says intent of amendment, the amendment to this bill aims to align with the original bill. So is the original bill that I have here still in place, or is all of that deleted? Because it doesn't clearly say that the original one is deleted and that only it will be this amendment.
Jovan Jackson for the record. So just to clarify that, it holds the original intent. The original intent was to get more women in trades. The original bill was very demanding and maybe not realistic for a lot of individuals to do. And I didn't want to present a bill that wasn't realistic and a bill that I didn't completely understand because that's not my background. So I wanted to get the facts first, get the data first, and then make the recruitment efforts to recruiting women, to recruit veterans, to recruit minorities into trades. So I just felt like the original bill jumped steps to the end goal, but it's still the original intent, trying to get more women, veterans, and underrepresented populations in trades.
Great. Okay, so all of the original is deleted and it's just this amendment. And then my other follow-up or kind of question is, the fiscal note is 1.7 million. Was that based on the original bill as written, and now is there none with just this amendment, or how does that fit into all of this?
Jovan Jackson, for the record, I do not have an answer.
Assemblymember, I believe that the fiscal notes are on the original intent of the bill, especially since the amendment hasn't been brought in. But as a policy committee, I don't really have a good answer for you, but it's definitely something that can be followed up separately. Our next question is from Assemblymember Flanagan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. Thank you for the presentation. I think my question is evolving in my head. It has to do with the recruitment component in the original intent of this bill and still the indirect intention of the bill. So I guess I'm going to make the question for now. Based on the language that says DETR and the Governor's Office of Economic Development will provide these grants to support training, is that after, it reads like once reporting has been done, then there's an evaluation and there will be support, or is it once the reporting has been done? Because Mr. Esposito has expressed that there is already some tracking of the data. So I'm kind of wondering when these grant support spaces come into play, and I did want to know what the recruitment effort was going to look like as well. That's two. I'm sorry, I cheated.
Greg Esposito for the record. Yeah, the way the bill is written, once the data has been reported, and in the first sentence after the bullet points, the apprenticeship director will let the apprenticeships know whether or not they've met their own standards or not, which they should know already. And then, the way the bill's written, it would kick into where DETR should be informed, hey, this apprenticeship needs a little assistance with its recruitment efforts. And GoEd should be informed, hey, this apprenticeship has quite a few women and minorities and such. They could use some educational funding assistance. Please make your programs available to them. And I will say, there's nothing stopping DETR tomorrow from making its opportunities available and known to apprenticeships. Nothing stopping GoEd tomorrow and there's nothing stopping the apprenticeship director from reporting up the information they have to you guys tomorrow. This bill is just sort of memorializing a good pathway to collecting data and you guys making judgments. And it's very permissive. All this can happen before this bill passes. All these government agencies exist, and these programs exist, and the data exists. It's just a matter of getting the people to do it to where we can address and see if there's a problem and then address it if there is. Does that answer your question, Assemblywoman?
It does. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jovan Jackson, for the record. So we want to reward folks that are doing the work and who want to do the work, just to be simply said with the grant opportunities.
Committee members, do we have any other questions? Assemblymember Gallant.
Thank you, Chair. Avery, thank you for sharing your story. As a 51% owner of a construction company, the guys do not like taking directions from me. No. So I appreciate the why that you guys are trying to get to. Like, why aren't more women coming to the industry? Why are they leaving? I guess I'm wondering, how is the reporting going to help find that out when we're hearing your story and it seems pretty apparent to me that there is a cultural issue within the industry and that that's something that really needs to be handled internally, and that this body and no state government can help change the minds of men unless it is actually done at the top within each of those organizations.
Greg Esposito, for the record, if I may address the Assembly member. Let's take, for example, the issue of childcare. Okay, that seems to be a recurring theme for a barrier for women getting into the trades because they are traditionally tasked with childcare in the family unit. Maybe the state, after a couple of years of this study, if they see the results of this data, maybe the state may decide that there is some sort of subsidy available for childcare for women in the trades. Maybe the state has, some program that it might want to put into place regarding penalties for discrimination in the trades. So the data should get reported to you guys. This way, if there is a solution to barriers, whether it be for minorities or formerly incarcerated people, women, if there are barriers, then you guys can make the call as to whether some legislation needs to pass to remove those barriers or address those barriers. So that's ultimately why, in my opinion, this is in front of you, so that eventually over time you can learn the problem and figure out a solution for the minorities and women of this state.
I appreciate that. But as a business owner, my employees, when I value them, I make adjustments to be able to ensure that they can do a work-life balance. That's important. So I am wondering why it is on the state to make that determination rather. I mean, I've been to, the union hall. You guys have plenty of space. Why not, as a organization, create support for the employees that you value and create a small daycare center within the union hall? I'm just asking why that isn't like a possibility.
Assemblymember, may I go direct, please, Chair? Thank you. Assemblymember Gallant, my name is Wendy Colborn, Building Trades for the record. We have actually had extensive discussions with the Boys and Girls Club up here in Northern Nevada and with other childcare providers to try to find that direct solution. And one of our biggest obstacles is actually the physical space to do it. All of our programs are independent also. It's not like there's a single central point where you have one funding source for this. So Northern Nevada is a lot smaller than Southern Nevada, and we have our individual programs, electricians, operating engineers, plumbers and pipe fitters. And for any individual one of those to provide a child care facility of its own would be a very heavy lift for a very small number of female apprentices. And what we're dealing with is kind of a catch-22, where because we don't have a lot of women in the trades yet, there's not that feeling of a need that they need to respond to for these trades programs. The goal is to get more women into the trades and then build that virtuous cycle there. And it is a lift, as you know yourself, working in construction. Bringing more women into the field can be a challenge. But it is something we're sensible to, and I think the overall intent of this bill is also to provide a carrot to incentivize bringing more women into the apprenticeship programs with that the potential grant funding that the programs could apply for if they meet certain thresholds for women in these programs. And if you provide that carrot and give these apprenticeship programs a reason to want more women in the programs and market more aggressively to them, you do gradually see a cultural shift where if you can see it, you can be it. And then when you see more women in the trades, you see it as a potential pathway for yourself as a woman.
Jovan Jackson for the record. I just want to thank you for leading the way in an industry that has been male-dominated. Being a construction owner or a general contractor has usually been held by men, so I think you really highlight the importance of this bill, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Assemblymember Flanagan, did you ask your second question? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you work on this, can we expect, based on the way the language is written, I know it's to collect data, that you will make some specific actionable efforts in the recruitment that we can hear about going forward?
If you go back and watch my testimony from 2 years ago, one of the things that I highlighted was, Greg Esposito for the record. Oh, I like that. That's new.
That's very good.
Greg Esposito for the record. If you go back and watch my testimony for 2 years ago, you'll see that I called upon everybody that I was speaking to that day, all the legislators, invite us to your community events, invite us to your job fairs, invite us to every time that you are stepping out in the community. A lot of unions have spent a lot of money on job trailers and training trailers to give young people and different demographics a hands-on experience while coming to them. And so what I believe a good answer to your question is, Assembly Member, oh yes, trust me, we're not stopping. Recruitment and making sure we're not a well-kept secret is a large part of what our apprenticeships are right now. And anytime someone sends me an opportunity, Assemblywoman Danielle Monroe Moreno holds a block party. I just attended a City Councilwoman Chandra Summers Armstrong's block party. I send that to our training coordinators, and they jump on it, and they jump on it with a fervor. So to answer your question, gladly.
Right, thank you very much. We would like to now move on to testimony on the bill. Testimony can be provided in person in Carson City, via video conference in Las Vegas, or over the phone. Further instructions for providing testimony on a bill can be found on the agenda. We are maintaining a 20-minute time limit for periods of support, opposition, and testimony, with each speaker having no more than 2 minutes. And as a reminder, support means you approve the measure as written, or as written along with proposed amendments that have been approved by the sponsor. Opposition means that you do not approve the measure as written, including if you wish to propose amendments that have not been approved by the sponsor. And neutral testimony means you are offering insight on the measure but expressing no opinion. I'd like to begin with support testimony here in Carson City for Assembly Bill 222. Please go ahead when you're ready.
Chair Considine and members of the committee, my name for the record is Andrew Lee Pilbit. I represent the United Veterans Legislative Council for Nevada and the 250,000 veterans in our state, Nevada. Now, I'm going to get a lifetime into 2 minutes here. I am testifying also as a father of 4 daughters. Our oldest daughter decided college didn't work for her, so she was going to drive big rigs. And guess what delivers all the materials for our public works sites? Big rigs, 18-wheelers. Well, this daughter was 5'2", and she went down to be trained to be a CDL driver, and they told her from the very first week, you will never make it. Well, she had a good mother, so she never gave up. And she ended up getting her CDL, 30 years in that. This is my oldest daughter of the 4, and she ended up owning her own trucking business, which she started as the only employee, 5'2". We used to kid about, how do you reach the pedals, dear? But 5'2", and she developed and learned to be an expert at that, and developed a business. She recently sold it after, I think, 18 years. But she had the same thing that we had the apprentice talk about, just one barrier after the other. So I have 4 amazing daughters. One even has an Olympic gold medal. Again, it's because they had a great mother, because the dad was never at home. So the UVLC totally supports this bill. We worked on it with Evelyn down in Vegas 2 years ago. The preferences in the bill are for women and veterans. By the way, veterans, we don't look at them as men or women. We look at them as veterans because they all served. So the UVLC 100% behind this bill, as recommended, amended. Thank you.
Kent Irvin, Kentervin for the Nevada Faculty Alliance. Our career and technical education programs at our public colleges and universities work hand in hand with these apprenticeship programs, and sometimes in partnership, and we fully support the intent of the bill as amended. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in Carson City wishing to testify in support of AB 222? Seeing no one and seeing some folks in Las Vegas, we will start in Las Vegas. If the young lady in pink wishes to begin, she can go first.
Thank you. Morning, Chair and committee members. And I also want to thank Assemblymember Jovan Jackson. I really appreciate him and thank him for being in the trenches with me and seeing the vision and working with me for over 5 years with talking to the ladies in Nevada Women in Trades. And I also have both my grandbabies here that are granddaughters, excuse me, that are going to testify to support the bill. For the record, I am Evelyn Pacheco, EVELYN PACHECO. I am the first Black woman and Black women veteran to get a plumber's license in the state of Nevada. I'm the first woman and the first Black women veteran to be commander of American Legion Post 51. And I'm also the president of Nevada Women in Trades. Trades Women Build Nations Conference started in 1995. In 2022, the Trades Women Build Nations Conference was held in Las Vegas, Nevada at Paris Hotel on the Strip. There was over 3,000 union women that attended this conference with the support of the UA, which is the United Association, NAB2, which is North American Building Trades Union, AFL-CIO, which is the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations, Southern Nevada Building Trades, which is SMBTU, and MCAA, which is Mechanical Contractors Association of America, and Tradeswomen Task Force in Canada was there too. To have data for women labor hours is to address the systemic inequities in public work projects, registered apprenticeship programs, contractors, and subcontractors. This act seeks to ensure workforce diversity, expand economic mobility, and strengthen Nevada's labor market while aligning with national best practices to achieve bipartisan support.
Ms. Pacheco, that is your 2 minutes. If you could quickly wrap up, please. Thank you.
Millions of taxpayer dollars are coming into Nevada for public work projects. Every taxpayer should be able to have a job using taxpayer dollars. This is happening so we can fix this, and everyone deserves the opportunity. AB 222 advances Nevada commitment to workforce equity while incorporating bipartisan priorities such as veterans support, economic development, accountability, and making sure Nevada remains a leader in inclusive public work policies and skilled trades development. I ask and I urge you to support AB 222. Yeah, push that. Okay, for the record.
For the record, my name is Jordan Inigas Pacheco. Jordaniguez Pacheco. And I support AB 22.
For the record.
Hi, for the record, my name is Royal Pacheco, ROYALPACHECO, and I support AB 222.
Thank you for that testimony. Is there anyone else in Las Vegas wishing to testify in support of AB 222? Please go ahead when you're ready.
Good morning, Chair and committee members. My name is Clara Thomas. That's CLARATHOMAS, and I am the former Assemblywoman for Assembly District 17 in beautiful North Las Vegas. I am proud to testify to AB 222 this morning to the hardest working committee in the Nevada Legislative committee rooms. This bill right now is something that I had the honor of working on in the 82nd session of the legislature. And I think that this amendment to what was originally worked on, AB 305, is pertinent to the success of workforce development. As we know that times are changing, we have so many homes that need to be built. We have industry that's coming to our state, and it is imperative that we have all workforce doing this building, because if we only limit it to the men in the state of Nevada, then we have an issue. And that issue is hiring what the unions call travelers from other states, from California, from Utah, from Arizona, from Texas, all over the United States, when we have workforce here that we can train and keep that revenue in the state of Nevada. I think it's imperative that we look at this data and not 5 years from now, but now, so that we can start building upon something that we know in the future is coming fast and furious. And that is housing, that is industry for stadiums, that's being built as we speak.
Thank you, Ms.
And,
Thomas. That's your 2 minutes. If you could quickly wrap up.
I appreciate that, Chair, and I thank you so much. I am honored to fully support as amended, AB 222.
Thank you. And Ms. Thomas, it's nice to see you in your former committee. Is there anyone else in Las Vegas wishing to testify in support of AB 222? Seeing no one approach, AVH, is there anyone on the line testifying in support for AB 222?
To testify in support of Assembly Bill 222, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue or raise hand on your Zoom window.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Megan Collins. I strongly agree I strongly urge the committee to support AB 222. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. The Nevada Veterans Caucus strongly supports AB 222. For the record, this is Matthew DeFalco from Henderson, by the way, which prioritizes veterans in hiring for public works projects. Many veterans face challenges transitioning to civilian careers despite their valuable skills and work ethic. This bill ensures they have fair access to stable employment. By incorporating veterans into public works, AB 222 strengthens our communities with a workforce that is disciplined, skilled, and mission-driven. Additionally, it aligns with Nevada's commitment to workforce development and economic growth. We also want to give a special shout out to our hero, Evelyn Pacheco, and the Nevada Women in Trades for their tireless efforts in championing opportunities for women and veterans in the skilled trades. Their work is instrumental in ensuring that underrepresented communities have access to good paying careers in construction and beyond. We urge the committee to support AB 222 and provide veterans with the opportunities they have earned through their service. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Caller, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Good morning, Chair Constantine, Vice Chair Wynn, and committee members. For the record, I'm Fred Wager, F-R-E-D-W-A-G-A-R. I apologize for my voice this morning as I've got a severe case of laryngitis. I represent the 39,000 members and dependents of the veterans of foreign wars and the disabled American veterans. We want to thank Assemblymember Jackson for sponsoring this bill. VFW and DAV support AB 222, as this bill in part supports those who have been honorably discharged from our armed forces of the United States, especially when it comes to employment of our women veterans. We would like to also recognize Evelyn Pacheco for everything she's done and with women in trades. We would ask that the committee support AB 222. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chair Considine and members of the committee. I'm Christian Solomon, CHRISTIAN representing RISE. I want to speak in support of AB 222. As an advocacy organization for college students and youth, RISE seeks to broaden trade apprentice opportunities for all Nevada youth because we know that the trades are another viable avenue for their professional development. Apprenticeships to us are just another form of higher education. We also greatly appreciate the intention behind including more women in the trades and want to see this effort for recruitment expanded under this legislation. Huge shout out to Evelyn Pacheco from Nevada Women in Trades and Assemblymember Jackson for your work on this legislation. Thank you for your consideration, and I strongly urge you to support AB 222.
Good morning. My name is Camila Bywater. I'm the co-chair for the Las Vegas Alliance of Black School Educators, and we are in support of AB 222. Unfortunately, in our society, we don't always have people in positions of power who are intentional about including marginalized communities. And I think this would be a great opportunity for the state to step in so that we can have some intentionality around including wonderful individuals who would definitely be excellent stakeholders and create space to build our community. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Chair and Assembly members. My name is Robert Sumlin, ROBERT SUMLIN, and I'm a member of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, Local Lodge SC 711, Sin City, Nevada. I'm also an Air Force veteran, and I urge the committee to strongly support Bill AB 222. Thank you, and have a great day. You are fantastic, Evelyn, and we support you all the way.
Hello, this is Ardell Bellman, and I'm urging the support of AB 96 is to maintain the trees that we have because trees support a cooler climate in our environment and give off oxygen. The green leaves absorb
I'm
carbon
sorry, if
dioxide
I
and
can
give
stop you,
off
caller.
oxygen.
I'm sorry, caller. It doesn't seem like your testimony is in support of Assembly Bill 222. If it is in support of another item, would you please call back? AVH, are there any others on the phone line for support of AB 222? We have about 5 minutes left in support, so we want to get through as many as possible. And again, if we do have some callers in support, if someone has said what your testimony covers, please say ditto so we can get more people on. Thank you.
Good day. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. This is Martin Walker from Las Vegas. I am just good day to the Assembly members team, and thank you, Javon Jackson, for bringing this. I'm a member of 100 Black Men of Las Vegas and also an Air Force veteran. We champion workforce development, and we believe that support of AB 222 is in order. We understand the importance of expanding the diversity of our local workforce and our talent pool. And we need to make We need to remove those barriers so we can fill the pipeline of local talent to fill those positions. So again, I support AB 222, and thank you to Evelyn Pacheco for championing this cause.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Raysha Pacheco, RAYSHAPACHECO. I strongly urge the committee to support AB 222.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Jasenia Rivera. I strongly urge the committee to support AB 222. I am a tradeswoman, and I went through an apprenticeship in the International Union of Operating Engineers. I'm currently a rank and file member now for well over 6 years. This career has not only impacted myself, but my sons. As a single parent, I can now support my family, have benefits, save for retirement, and have a pension once I actually retire. I support AB 222 because having data will help identify gaps in our workforce, which there are many. I had many barriers during my apprenticeship, and ensure that there are underrepresented groups that can attain these high-paying jobs to support themselves, their families, and rely less on government assistance. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Caller, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Jessica Stender, and I'm calling in strong support of AB 222 on behalf of Equal Rights Advocates and the National Task Force on Tradeswomen's Issues. We advocate for women and other underrepresented groups to get into apprenticeships and into jobs in the trades. Women, particularly women of color, are steered and segregated into low-wage jobs that keeps millions of women and families stuck in perpetual states of poverty and contributes to the overall gender and race wage gap that we see in this country. Not only does this keep women from being able to support themselves with basic necessities like food, rent, and diapers, but it also contributes to long-term financial insecurity and an inability to save for retirement, which contributes to higher rates of poverty in older age for women, especially women of color. So for these reasons, we are strongly supportive of any efforts to help women and other underrepresented groups to get into the jobs in the trades, and data is key. We know that many employers are facing workforce shortages, and ensuring that women and veterans and others are able to access these higher paid jobs will not only support them to have a financially secure life, but also help employers who need workers. Thank you so much, and we really support this bill and urge your aye vote and support. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Laura, L-A-U-R-A, Perkins, P-E-R-K-I-N-S. As a former regent for the Nevada System of Higher Education, I strongly urge the committee to support AB 222. Being a metrics-driven person, if you don't measure it, it doesn't matter. So once again, I am in strong support of this amendment.
My name is Marcus Sherfield. My name is Marcus Sherfield. Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Sorry, this is my first time, but I just want to make sure to strongly urge you, the committee, to support AB 222. I work in the workforce development side, and I work side by side with youth and young adults that are trying to pursue their apprenticeship, and I have seen the challenges that they face. So again, I strongly urge you, the committee, to support AB 222. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pamela White for the record, and I strongly urge you to support AB 222. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. This, again, is Donna Lee, retired Navy Vietnam Air veteran. I'm not sure if it went through the last time. However, I strongly urge and support AB 222. And thank you, Evelyn, for all that you do for our women.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Belinda Strong, BelindaStrong, a Nevada native. I strongly urge the committee to support AB 222, and thank you, Evelyn, for your persistency.
Chair, we have no additional callers in support at this time.
Thank you. We did go over our 20 minutes. I will add those additional minutes to opposition if necessary, and we'll move on to testimony in opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition to AB 222? Please go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Mac Bybee. I am the president and CEO of the Associated Builders and Contractors. I want to take a minute to thank Assemblymember Jackson. We had a really good conversation earlier this week, and I'm going to get to a place where I agree with the intent of the amendment. Just want to see the language, as devils are in the details, as everybody here well knows. But I want to point out a few things. There's a handful of us in this building that actually run apprenticeship programs. We are one of them. We have electrical, plumbing, operators, sheet metal, carpentry, low voltage, and these programs are actually highly regulated. And we have to report on minorities, female, disabilities, veterans to meet program requirements. So all that stuff is collected. It's a system. It's called RAPIDS, all caps. Don't ask me what it stands for, but it goes straightly to the U.S. Department of Labor. So Greg Esposito is correct. This data exists. It's out there. I've never seen it compiled on a state level to give everybody an idea of what is or what isn't. But what we do know is nationwide, there's 420 some odd thousand open construction jobs. There's just not enough of everybody. Nobody is getting turned away based upon race or gender. I mean, if you have an aptitude for it, we want you. We want you in the trades. We want you to come in. We want to be able to give you the opportunity to train. We want to set you up with a good contractor. We want to have a career that can be life-changing. And so that is something that everybody shares. But again, my opposition is to the bill as written. Agree with the intent of the conceptual amendment. And I hope that we can get that to a place where it can pass. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Brian Reeder, speaking on behalf of the Nevada Contractors Association. NCA represents the commercial construction industry in Southern Nevada, and the intent of this bill with the amendment as presented seems like something NCA could support to gather details about how to recruit a diverse workforce, particularly get more women into the trades. Seems like a great idea, and NCA should be able to get to support. NCA is very active when it comes to workforce development and diversity. We partner with the local schools, colleges on career fairs and other events. We reach out directly to school counselors and teachers and host job site tours to give kids the hands-on look and feel of a job site so they can understand what they might be getting into if they choose that career. Every year we participate in Construction Career Day, and that's usually about 1,500 kids from across the Las Vegas Valley, ages middle school to college. And then finally, we have an online workforce hub that has a job board, has information about the trades, what you can make going into these trades money-wise, funding opportunities, scholarship opportunities, and things like that. So there's a lot of work at NCA to recruit workers of all different backgrounds. Unfortunately, we do, however, oppose the original bill. And I know that's not what was presented this morning, but just sticking with the committee rules, we oppose the bill as written, but we look forward to reviewing the amendment language and getting to support. Thanks.
Good morning, Chair Considine, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Nick Schneider, Director of Government Affairs for the Vegas Chamber. For the sake of brevity, I'll go ahead and echo the comments of my colleagues. We did have some concerns with the bill as originally drafted and are just looking forward to the amendment language and working with the bill sponsor. Wanted to quickly thank the bill sponsor as well for meeting with us, and we look forward to finding a resolution. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 222? Seeing no one, is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in opposition on this bill? Seeing no one approach in Las Vegas, AVH, is there anyone on the line in opposition to Assembly Bill 222?
To testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 222, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller, please press star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last 3 digits 153, please press star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller again, please press star 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we are having issues with this caller, so I will be moving on to the next caller.
Please do. Thank you.
If you recently joined the call and would like to testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 222, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no additional callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. I will move into neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City that wishes to testify in the neutral position on AB 222? Seeing no one approach, is there anyone in Las Vegas? Please go ahead when you are ready.
Good morning, Chair Considine, members of the committee. My name is Brett Harris, Nevada Labor Commissioner for the record. We did submit a fiscal note on the original version of the bill, which essentially sort of asked to triplicate our Apprenticeship Utilization Act regulatory process, and that is why that fiscal note what it is. We have heard the intended amendment language, and once that amendment goes through, so long as none of this reporting to us and compliance portion is left, then it would remove the fiscal note as is.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the Labor Commissioner? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else in Las Vegas wishing to testify in neutral on the bill? And seeing no one approach, AVH, we're back to you for testimony in neutral on Assembly Bill 222.
To testify in neutral for Assembly Bill 222, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Again, please press star 9. Caller, you are unmuted. Please go ahead.
I'm in favor, we are in favor of AB 96, which is to maintain the
I'm
trees.
sorry, ma'am, but this is testimony only for Assembly Bill 222. That testimony on a bill would be appropriate in public comment today because we are not hearing that bill. Thank you.
Chair, we have no additional callers for neutral at this time.
Thank you. If the presenters would like to come up to make any final remarks?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee. I failed to mention that Assembly Member Hunt has signed on to be a primary sponsor for AB 222. And I just wanted to say, I know we are talking about women and veteran and trades, and maybe it may not be something emotional or traumatizing to you, Jovan Jackson, for the record. But women in certain positions, even in this building, face discrimination, hatred. And even though we're just talking about apprenticeships, there's a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings about being in certain places that are dominated by men traditionally. So there's very important values to this bill beyond apprenticeships. It definitely faces discrimination. It addresses discrimination in the work field and also addresses workforce development. So thank you for allowing me to present this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will now close the hearing on Assembly Bill 222 and open the hearing on Assembly Bill 356, which revises provisions relating to collective bargaining agreements. To present the measure, we have Assembly Member Monroe Moreno. And whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Good morning, Chair Considine and members of the committee. For the record, I am Assembly Member Danielle Monroe Moreno, and I proudly represent Assembly District 1, which is in Clark County. And I also proudly serve as the chair of Ways and Means. Today, I am presenting Assembly Bill 356, which revises provisions relating to collective bargaining agreements, and is a measure that will make government work more effectively and efficiently. Joining me to assist in answering technical questions and then by phone a friend is a nonpartisan fiscal staff member, Mr. Brody Leiser. In essence, this bill aligns collective bargaining timelines with budget timelines to allow for a more cohesive, informed budgeting process. To briefly explain the current timeline under existing law, collective bargaining negotiations between the executive department's representatives and the bargaining unit's exclusive representative are required to begin within 60 days after one of the parties notifies the other party of the desire to negotiate, or on or before October 1st of each even-numbered year, whichever is earlier. If the parties do not reach an agreement, they are authorized to request a mediator within 120 days after beginning negotiations on or before February 1st of an odd-numbered year. Finally, the parties if they do not reach an agreement through mediation within 10 days after appointing a mediator, mediation must cease and the parties must begin arbitration proceedings on or before February 15th, unless they agree to a later date. The arbitrator is then required to render a decision on or before March 5th. Unfortunately, this current timeline does not align with the budget cycle. Since the Economic Forum, which meets in early December, and the governor's executive budget is presented or submitted in January, most of the collective bargaining process, from requesting mediation to the arbitrator's decision, happens after these crucial components of the budget cycle. As we all know, by March, the legislature is already in session, meaning that if additional resources are needed to fund the agreements, finalized through the arbitration process, the legislature must make those decisions, including potential budgetary cuts that may be necessary in order to find the necessary resources to fund the agreements. The lack of alignment between the collective bargaining timeline and the budget cycle simply does not make sense, as it takes away the ability to account for these important decisions within the budget on an advanced basis. You should have before you a conceptual amendment and will be working off of that conceptual amendment. And is an all negotiation. There's been an amendment to the amendment, so you can strike out number 2 on the amendment. The timelines, as you see on the amendment, would be according to NRS 288.565 and 288.570 and 288.575. The amendment will allow collective bargaining to begin within 60 days after notification of the desire to negotiate on or before June 1st of each even number year, whichever is earlier. Allow the mediation to begin 120 days after negotiations have began on or before November 15th of an even numbered year, whichever is earlier. Require the arbitration to begin on or before November 30th of an even numbered year or any later date set by agreement of the parties, and require an arbitrator to render a decision on or before December 20th of an even numbered year, thus giving the executive branch a little more time to work on their budget before they have to present it to the legislative body. Again, striking out Section 2 of the amendment, we would go to Section 3, and it will require the governor, to the extent practical, to include in the final biennial proposed executive budget any amount of money agreed upon in the collective bargaining agreement, and authorize the governor to include in the budgetary any amount of money the governor deems appropriate for salaries, wages, or other forms of direct monetary compensation for employees that are not represented in an agreed upon collective bargaining agreement. And it also requires the governor, if he or she determines that it's not practical, to include any amount agreed upon in a collective bargaining agreement statement in the final biennial proposed executive budget, to submit a report to the legislature stating the reasons why there's such a determination. And finally, in Section 4, it required the Economic Forum to prepare a written report of its projection for economic indicators and estimate of future state revenue, and present the report to the governor and the legislature on or before November 15th of each even numbered year, instead of December 3rd of each even numbered year. Ultimately, we found ourselves in a position when we first got state collective bargaining that found the legislature in a bind. The collective bargaining agreements were finalized after the legislative body had signed and died. And at that point, we as a legislative body cannot fund whatever happens in the collective bargaining agreement. By moving the timelines, it gives the executive branch better opportunity to know what those numbers are, put it into the executive branch budget that's presented to us in the budget that we get as a legislative body. As your fiscal committees, we are able to budget that out properly in common sense into the budget that we as legislators have to provide to the state. This is a common sense measure that improves the capacity of efficiency and proper planning within our budget process. I urge you all to support this measure. We know that this legislative session, we don't have a lot of money in the budget to work with, but we do have an opportunity to look at the work that we do and find ways to be much more effective, much more efficient in how we do business as a government entity. We will stand for questions, and I have my phone a friend that will take all the technical questions.
Committee members, do we have any questions? Seeing none, the presentation fulfilled all of our questions. What I would like to do now is to move on to testimony. Again, testimony can be given in person in Carson City via video conference in Las Vegas or over the phone, and instructions for providing testimony can be found on the agenda. Again, we will be maintaining our 20-minute time limits for periods of support, opposition, and neutral testimony, with each speaker having 2 minutes. We will begin with testimony in support here in Carson City, and go ahead when you're ready.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Dan Gordon, D-A-N-G-O-R-D-O-N, and I'm the president of the Nevada Police Union. Nevada Police Union represents both Unit G, which is Category 1 line level officers, and Unit L, which is Category 1 supervisors, sergeants, and lieutenants. We'd like to express our strong support for the passage of this bill regarding timelines for state employees to start collective bargaining earlier. As it stands now, the ability to effectively negotiate is rushed and limited in scope. The current laws and timelines can sometimes cause more issues than resolutions. AB 356 would create a path for more productive negotiations and the ability to eliminate a rush to get agreed upon contracts done by the end of the legislative session. This bill is exactly what's needed to alleviate many of the negotiation problems that we run into today. And thank you, Assemblymember Monroe Moreno, for presenting this bill. We urge you to support this much-needed bill for the betterment of state employees. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, for the record, Randy Saltero, representing the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. Here today to support AB 356. We thank Assemblymember Danielle Moreno for bringing this bill. It currently, AFSCME is in arbitration for their current contract. We believe that this legislation will help prevent that happening in the future, and we fully support this legislation. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the hardworking Assembly Government Affairs Committee. My name is Troyce Krumme, T-R-O-Y-C-E-K-R-U-M-M-E. I am the chairman of the Las Vegas Police Managers and Supervisors Association, and I am also here speaking on behalf of every member of the Public Safety Alliance of Nevada. We urge your support for AB 356. In 2019, certain state workers were afforded the ability through that legislative cycle to collectively bargain. The Nevada State Police attempted to open bargaining recently and had to take their contract to arbitration, which is a remedy provided for policing in exchange for not being able to strike. Unfortunately, at the end of that decision, which they prevailed because the budget cycle had been removed from them, it sent it up to the Supreme Court, where they ultimately got their decision overturned because of the timeline. So this bill goes a long ways to fix that timeline so they don't run into similar issues. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee and staff. Rick McCann, M-C-C-A-N-N, representing the Nevada Association of Public Safety Officers and the Nevada Law Enforcement Coalition. I'm here today to support, obviously, AB 356. State employees, including our state law enforcement officers, have been negotiating their contracts only since 2020, give or take, after being given the right to do so in the 2019 legislature. The parties, frankly, both sides, I believe, have been hampered by their ability to commence, continue, and conclude negotiations in a timely and effective manner, and with an understanding of whether and how much money might be available to them. AB 356 provides a remedy to these issues, and as a result, we urge your support of AB 356. And as a side note, once again, as everybody has been doing, our thanks to Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno and to Sarah and Brody, the financial geniuses. I can't even balance my own damn checkbook, but they take care of this stuff on a daily basis. It's a brilliant bill. You need to pass it. Thanks.
Morning, Madam Chair, committee members. Todd Inglesby, President of Professional Firefighters Nevada. We represent battle-born firefighters within the state. We just want to thank the Assembly member for bringing this important legislation. This is continued work that's needed to clean up from the 2019 legislation that was passed. This benefits both sides. This puts both sides in a better position to know exactly where they are financially and help the state too as well. We urge your support and thank you.
Kent Irvin, K-E-N-T-E-R-V-I-N, for the Nevada Faculty Alliance, the statewide independent association of professionals at our public colleges and universities. Good morning. AB 356 does not affect collective bargaining for higher educational professionals as proposed in AB 191, but we support the intent of AB 356 as amended and the positive effect on the budgeting process for all state employees. Moving decisions about state employee compensation earlier in the budget cycle is a good idea. Instead of making these decisions at the very end of sessions, cost of living adjustments should be built into the executive budget at the outset. We recognize, of course, that the May Economic Forum can change the budget outlook, but then there is still time for adjustments. State agency and ANSHI budgets ought to include necessary inflation adjustments, including for employee compensation, and build other enhancements on top of that as funding is available. Having these decisions happen earlier helps all state employees, whether or not they're part of collective bargaining units. SB 135 in 2019 set timelines that were thought to be reasonable at the time. AB 356 makes it work better in the context of the state budgeting process in Nevada. We defer to our public employees partners on other aspects of the amendment. Thank you to Assembly Member Monroe Moreno for the bill and for your support.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in Carson City wishing to testify in support of AB 356? Seeing no one in Las Vegas wishing to testify. AVH, is there anyone on the phone lines wishing to testify in support of AB 356?
To testify in support of Assembly Bill 356, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers wishing to testify in support.
Thank you. We will now move on to opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition to AB 356? Seeing no one, is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 356? Seeing no one approach, AVH, is there anyone on the line in opposition to AB 356?
To testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 356, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers wishing to testify in opposition.
Thank you. We will now move to neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in neutral on AB 356? Please go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you, Assembly Committee on Ways and Means. For the record, Teresa Benitez-Thompson, Chief of Staff to Attorney General Ford. Attorney General Ford is on the record of being a strong supporter for a well-working and fair collective bargaining agreement process for state workers. And we are also very understanding of the bill sponsor's intent and want to work with her in terms of lining up these timeframes for intent. And so we've reached out to ask her to engage in conversations. And of course, she was an enthusiastic yes, just so that we can talk through some of these timelines a little bit more to make sure that our office and the two attorneys who work in these in this field have the ability to meet the timelines that are being presented.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in Carson City wishing to testify in neutral? Seeing no one, is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in neutral on AB 356? Seeing no one approach, AVH, is there anyone on the line in neutral to AB 356?
To testify in neutral for Assembly Bill 356, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers wishing to testify in neutral.
Thank you. If the sponsors would like to, they would not like to make any final? Okay, I will now, thank you so much. I will close the hearing on AB 356. And as I mentioned at the start of the meeting, we will conduct a work session to take action on measures the committee has heard in previous meetings. It is not customary for the committee to take testimony or rehear bills during a work session. However, I may invite a witness to come forward for clarification or questions during our consideration of a measure. We will be hearing 5 bills during the work session today. AB 41, AB 43, AB 82, AB 96 and AB 269. We will begin with AB 41.
Thank you, Chair. Alex Drozdoff, Committee Policy Analyst. For the record, as nonpartisan legislative staff, I can neither support nor oppose any measure before the committee. The first bill on work session is Assembly Bill 41, which revises provisions relating to the state militia. The committee heard this bill on February 24th. Assembly Bill 41 authorizes the Adjutant General to appoint an additional Assistant Adjutant General from either the Nevada Army National Guard or the Nevada Air National Guard, who may serve as the State Assistant Adjutant General and is in the unclassified service of the state. The bill also removes the Chief of Staff for Army from the unclassified service of the state and the authorization for the appointed Assistant Adjutant Generals to serve in certain Chief of Staff roles. Finally, it increases the number of Assistant Adjutant Generals that may be appointed from 2 to 3. Cheryl Tyler at the Office of the Military submitted an amendment that revises the title of the additional Assistant Adjutant General to Deputy Adjutant General and provides certain duties of the Deputy Adjutant General. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion on AB 41.
So moved.
I'm sorry. I know. I apologize. Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to amend and do pass.
So moved.
Vice Chair Nguyen, do I have a second? Second from Assembly Member Karras. All those in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed say nay. The motion carries. Unanimously. For the floor statement, Assembly Member Goulding, would you like to give the floor statement? Certainly. Thank you. Our next bill will be Assembly Bill 43.
Thank you, Chair. Alex Drozdoff for the record. The next bill on work session is Assembly Bill 43, which revises provisions relating to public works. The committee heard this measure on March 6th. Assembly Bill 43 establishes a permanent program to gather data on the use of job order contracts and authorizes certain public bodies to award job order contracts for certain public works. Those provisions apply only to a public body that is a county with a population of 700,000 or more, a city with a population of 150,000 or more in such a county, and certain general improvement districts. The bill also defines terms, outlines certain conditions of the job order contracts, specifies requirements for public bodies related to the contracts, and prescribes certain responsibilities for contractors, as well as the process for selecting them. Additionally, it requires the governing body to annually submit a report concerning job order contracts to the Director of the Legislative Council Bureau. Joanna Jacob, Government Affairs Manager at Clark County, submitted an amendment specifying that the job order contracting delivery method should only be used for minor construction of existing facilities. The amendment also requires the written policy concerning the assignment of job orders be considered and adopted at a public hearing before the local government's governing body. Finally, it adds upcoming job orders to the information required to be included in the public body's quarterly reports. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to amend and do pass on AB 43.
So move, amend, and do pass.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Nguyen and a second from Assembly Member Hunt. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed say nay. The motion carries unanimously. And I would like to, Assembly Member Silva, will you do the floor statement? And now we will move on to Assembly Bill 82.
Thank you, Chair Alex Drozdoff. For the record, the next bill on work session is Assembly Bill 82, which requires the governor to proclaim certain days of observance. The committee heard this measure on February 27th. Assembly Bill 82 requires the governor to annually proclaim certain days to be Diwali Day, Eid al-Fitr Day, Vaisakhi Day, and Vesak Day in the state of Nevada. Assemblymember De Silva proposed an amendment to add co-sponsors to the bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions? I will now entertain a motion to, oh, sorry.
No, it would be discussion after the motion. Sorry.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to amend and do pass Assembly Bill 82.
So moved. Oh.
Okay, I will have that motion from Assemblymember Carter. And do I have a second?
Second.
From Assembly Wynn for the second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to vote yes to get it out of committee, but I reserve the right to change my vote on the floor.
I have a similar position to Assemblyman Gurr.
Thank you. All those in favor say yay.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Assembly Member De Silva, would you like to carry? Thank you. Okay, our next bill is AB 96.
Thank you, Chair Alex Drozdoff. For the record, the next bill on work session is Assembly Bill 96, which revises provisions relating to master plans. The committee heard this measure on February 18th. Assembly Bill 96 requires that the master plan in counties with a population of 100,000 or more, currently Clark and Washoe counties, must include a heat mitigation element. This element must include a plan to develop heat mitigation strategies, which may include access to public cooling spaces, public drinking water, cool building practices, shade over paved surfaces, and other measures. The shade elements may include shade structures, shelters, and urban tree canopies, with a preference for native or drought-tolerant species. The Urban Consortium proposed an amendment accepted by the sponsor to remove the word shelters from the types of shade over paved surfaces and to change the effective date from July 1st, 2025 to July 1st, 2026. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions? Does she have a question? Gallant, Assemblymember Gallant, did you have a question? No. Okay. Thank you. I will now, are there any other questions? Okay, I will now entertain a motion to amend and do pass on Assembly Bill 96.
So moved. Amend and do pass.
A second? First from Vice Chair Wynn, a motion, and then second from Assemblymember Karras. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I will vote yes to get it out of the committee and reserve my right to vote on the, change my vote on the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Since a similar bill last session was vetoed by the governor, I'm likely to vote no on the floor, but in the interest of keeping the conversation going between the sponsor of the bill and the governor's office, I'm going to vote yes to get it out of committee.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I will now entertain a motion to amend and do. Oh, sorry. Sorry, doing this for the first time. I appreciate everybody's patience on this. If I could have all in favor say yeah.
Yes.
And any opposed say nay. And for opposition, I have Assembly Members Gallant and Edgeworth. Anyone else? Okay, motion carries. And for the floor statement, Assemblymember Karras, would you like to carry the floor statement? Yes, I would. Thank you. And our last bill on our first work session, Assembly Bill 269.
Thank you, Chair Alex Drozdoff. For the record, the last bill on work session is Assembly Bill 269, which revises provisions relating to education. The committee heard this bill on March 10th. Assembly Bill 269 adds a licensed marriage and family therapist, clinical alcohol and drug counselor, licensed alcohol and drug counselor, and certified problem gambling counselor to the definition of provider of healthcare. This addition makes these professions eligible to participate in the student loan repayment for providers of healthcare in underserved communities program. Eric Jimenez, Chief Policy Deputy, Office of the State Treasurer, submitted an amendment accepted by the sponsor, adding a licensed assistant behavior analyst and behavior analyst, licensed physical therapist, licensed speech language pathologist, and certain public health professionals to the definition of provider of healthcare. The amendment also allows healthcare providers who commit to practicing for at least 5 years in locations directly adjacent to low-income census tracts to be eligible for the program. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to amend and do pass on AB 269.
So moved, amend and do pass.
I will, okay. So we have the motion made by Vice Chair Nguyen and the second by Assemblymember Gallant. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say yay.
Yay.
Any opposed say nay. Nay. And that nay is from Assemblymember DeLong. And the motion carries. Hold on just a moment, please. Assemblyman De Silva, would you like to carry that flow statement? Thank you. With that, we have successfully completed our first work session. Thank you. We will now move on to public comment. Public comment is not an opportunity to rehear testimony on a bill, and we ask that you please keep your public comment to topics within the jurisdiction of the committee. As a reminder, members of the public can provide public comment in person or telephonically and may submit public comment up to 24 hours after the meeting. Instructions for providing public comment can be found on the agenda. To provide public comment telephonically, dial 888-475-4499. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, enter 810-4286. 2570, and then press pound when prompted for a participant ID. Each person will have 2 minutes to provide testimony. Please remember to clearly state and spell your name for the record. Is there any public comment today here in Carson City? Seeing none, we will go to Las Vegas. Is there anyone wishing to provide public comment in Las Vegas? Seeing none, AVH, is there anyone on the phone line for public comment?
If you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Yeah, hello, this is Al Rojas from Assembly District 12, Senate District 21. Just so you know, I have been listening to you guys, but there was nothing for me to say, so I don't just talk when I want to talk. There is something that came up. You guys were talking about Bill. It's just something that on Bill, 96. I'm not specifically commenting on that, but I'm over here, and we're really doing well cleaning up the community with all these homelessness on the east side. We've just opened up a new. We're going to be opening up a new police command center, Hollywood Command. And we're having a lot of success. However, we have a lot of HOAs, and what we've noticed is that we're having problems trespassing people if a resident, just a basic resident, wants to trespass somebody off of community property. We can't. We have to get somebody on the HOA, and that becomes an issue. There is you can create what's called a security subcommittee, and with the authority to go in there and trespass people from community property that are on that subcommittee. And I saw something about the planning of general plan stuff. Maybe with all these HOAs, it can work for us or against us to get homeless and get all these problems that we're having. And maybe we ought to mandate that everybody that has an HOA start a community, a security subcommittee within their HOA, CC&Rs. Something for you to think about, and it'll give us a lot of help getting these homeless that are just going to homes, seeing what's available. We're getting a lot of break-ins, even in HOAs, and this would definitely help reduce crime as we are a growing county. Thank you very much.
Chair, we have no additional callers for public comment at this time.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be Monday, March 24th at 8 a.m. here in room 4100. That concludes our meeting for today. The meeting is adjourned. Have a great weekend.